Welcome to The Explainer. All right, today we're jumping right into CapCut, the super powerful and, believe it or not, completely free video editor. If you've been wanting to make your videos look more professional, but you don't want to deal with a huge learning curve or an expensive price tag, you are in the right place. And look, that is not an exaggeration. A ton of creators, like D. Niman, call it a total game changer. And the best part? It's available for free on your desktop, your iPhone, and your Android. It puts some seriously powerful tools right in your pocket.
Okay, so our goal today is super simple. We're not going to get lost in every single menu and feature. Nope. We are focusing on the absolute core skills you need to edit and export your very first video like right now. So let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive in. Step 1 is all about getting set up. Before we can start making any cool cuts, we've got to understand the workspace. And don't worry, this looks way more complicated than it actually is.
The first thing you need to know, and maybe the most important part of the whole screen, is the timeline down at the bottom. I want you to think of this as your digital cutting board. It's the workbench where everything, and I mean everything, happens. Arranging your video clips, adding your music, putting in text, it all happens right here.
So how do we get our clips onto that timeline? It's really just a simple 1, 2, 3 process. First, you click that big blue button to start a new project. Second, you import your media. The video clips from your phone or your computer. And finally, you just click and drag them down onto the timeline. That's it. Now you're ready to actually start editing.
All right, our clips are on the timeline. Now for the fun part. This is where the real magic happens. We get to do the actual editing. This is how you shape your story, right? You cut out the boring stuff and you just keep the good parts. And trust me, it's way easier than you think.
You're basically going to be doing two main things over and over and over again. First up is trimming. Super easy. You just grab the end of a clip and literally drag it to make it shorter. The second thing is splitting. This is like having a little pair of digital scissors. You can just snip and cut a clip right in two wherever you want.
But what about those mistakes in the middle of a clip? That long, awkward pause you took before you started talking. Or maybe when you totally stumbled over a word. How do we get rid of that stuff?
Well, that's where the split and delete method comes in. And honestly, if you master this one little trick, your videos will immediately look 10 times more professional. So you take that little vertical line, the playhead, and you park it right at the beginning of your mistake. Then you hit split. Next, you move it to the end of the mistake. Hit split again. See what you just did? You trapped that little mistake in its own clip. Now, all you have to do is click on it and hit delete. Poof, it's gone.
Okay, so the main edit is done. The story flows, but now it's time to add a little personality, a little polish. These are the small things that take your video from just being okay to being something that looks and feels really professional. And we're not going to go crazy here. We're going to focus on 3 super simple but really effective things you can add. We're going to pop a quick title at the beginning, drop in some background music to give it a vibe, and then add a simple, smooth transition between 2 of our clips so it's not just a harsh jump cut.
And speaking of music, here is a massive pro tip for you. Seriously, remember this one. When you add background music, you never want it to overpower your voice. A really good rule of thumb is to lower the music's volume down to around -16 decibels. That way, it adds to the mood, but it doesn't fight with what you're saying.
And that brings us to the final step, the last hurdle. Your video's edited, it's polished, it looks great. Now what? Well, now it's time to export it so you can actually share it with the world.
Now, when you hit export, you're going to see a screen with a bunch of settings. Don't let this scare you. It's actually really simple. The most important thing is just to try and match the settings to your original footage. But for almost anything you're going to post online, social media, whatever, exporting at 1080p in the MP4 format is going to be your best friend. It's the perfect sweet spot between great quality and a manageable file size.
And that's it. Just like that. You now have all the fundamental skills you need to create compelling videos in CapCut. You know how to import your clips, how to make your cuts, how to add that polish, and how to export the final product. So really, the only question left is, what story are you going to go create first?